Oh man. Oh man. Hello. Hello and also hello. Welcome to another fun thing that we haven't had for a while. Oh my goodness. So if you couldn't tell, I'm on call. Because we were supposed to release on Monday the ninth, Monday the Monday the 5th on call. We were supposed to release on Monday the 5th, and it wasn't fully ready. There were things that they brought up on like Sunday night that were like, hey, we need to get these things fixed before we can release. And it's like, okay, we'll do that. So then we've been working all week last week, and then we made it through this past Monday, and drop dead date essentially, it's do or die, was this morning by 4 a.m., which is when our build happened. And there was a new issue that was brought up in that build. I was asked to change an icon because they didn't like a certain icon. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, that's a quick change. However, whenever we make a change, we have to do it in a branch, do a PR, have a build run on that PR, have that PR released or merged and approved, and then have a build run on the merged master. And the whole process for that is about, I don't know, an hour and a half to 2 hours. So any change that they want, that's like, oh, we need this one, we need this icon change, we need this blah. Not only that though, the two icons that they wanted me to use were pings. They gave it to me in PNG format, and I've been using SVGs everywhere in the app because we have two different themes, a light and a dark theme, obviously. And if we used a PNG that didn't have transparencies, instead it had a white background, then it wouldn't look good on the dark. So I had to turn those into SVGs. So it ended up being more than 2 hours for an icon. It ended up being about an hour for me to turn two icons from their, because I'm not a designer. So turn those two icons from their PNG formats into SVG. And yeah, the can't you just. Definitely that. So anyway, that was fun. But this morning we had another issue where if you do something weird, I can't show you the actual app or anything like that. Um, I needed to know how to whisper. If you move the application down to the bottom of the screen, actually, let me show you in Visual Studio. So if I made a change in Visual Studio, I move the app down to the bottom of the screen and I try to close it. We also have a shutdown warning message. And there's two ways that you can. Right now, what happens is it centers itself to the window. And when it centers itself to the window, you can't interact with it unless you use tabs and stuff. And this has been a known issue since the previous version of the application. And I was just told about it this morning. And so the window that pops up gets centered to the screen, so you can only interact with it on using tabs and stuff. And you don't even know where you're tabbed at. Except that you do now, because I enhanced the entire application. On what I spent my time doing on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was getting the narrator to work really well, to flow with all of your tabs, to actually go to the regions for the descriptive text and everything like that. So that was fun. Um, but anyway, so the two approaches are what Visual Studio just did here, which is it'll move it into the display that you're on. But remember, this is actually desktop development, Irish John. It's a desktop application that uses Blazor for the UI, which is fun. And even if we had a WPF app, we still would need to make the screen reader work. Desktop web development, absolutely. So anyway, what Visual Studio does is it shifts the dialog box onto the display within the screen's display bounds. The alternative is to have the window show up in the middle, no matter what, like in the middle of the screen. Or I guess there are three. Have it always show up in the middle of the screen, the are you sure you want to close the app? Have it only show up in the center of the screen if it would otherwise show up out of bounds, or nudge it in bounds if it's going to be out of bounds. So we just went with the always have it go in the center of the screen because that's the easiest. And the way that I did that was I commented out the code that said on window activated, center to the application window, because it was already defaulted to center to screen all the time. So anyway, that took a PR, and that PR was just now approved. And the build is currently in progress, which is what I will be monitoring throughout the stream today. Actually, is the build even in progress? Gibby. It was not. I'm not quite sure why they removed the auto CI on PR. Doesn't make sense. But anyway, it's pending now. Okay. So that's running. I'm going to be super duper distracted, but I didn't want to leave you guys in the dark. I wanted you to know what all is going on with me. And to say hello to all of you. I miss you. I miss you so very much. So in chat today, so far, we have Irish John Games, Dukas Soft, Prog Testing, Tactics, and that's everyone that spoke so far. So hello to all of you. Hello to all of you lurkers. I hope you're having a fantastic week, a fantastic day, a fantastic hour, minute, even down to the fantastic second. We have been on stream playing with this financial management tracker application that I have been wanting to finish up. The last thing that we did, I believe, was to get the lookup lists to populate in drop-down boxes. Right? Oh, I don't know why I'm controlling. So again, I'm so used to doing desktop dev right now that like I am Control F5 running the app. Oh my gosh. So, okay, I have to share this because it's fun. Speaking of Irish John Games, first, we just saw the Rise of Piracy announcement from Stream Elements. Thank you so much for giving us that. But definitely check out Rise of Piracy on Steam. Go to the page, wishlist it. Should be in early access, S**N. I haven't been able to watch your streams with sound lately. I haven't even been able to attend your streams and lurk lately, which it's but I should be back in the swing of things as soon as we are finished with the release and whatever hot fixes we need to do. But yeah, should be seeing Rise of Piracy S**N, which is going to be awesome. So if you have not followed him, then I'm trying to type shout out on my code. How exactly do you do this? /shout out is the one that gives us the thingy with the heart. So if you have not followed him, you should see a message at the top of your chat. Way over there with the little heart. Just click that heart. Just click it. You know you want to. He's an amazing game developer. He uses Unity, and it's just so much fun to be in his streams. He can be chill. He can be excited. He's just everything that you want in a streamer. It's awesome. So that's our good friend Irish John Games. Um, cool. And both of them have approved the PR. Why isn't it updating? That's weird. It shows that I have two people that approved it, but only one person has a check mark next to their name, even though. Anyway, um, so yes, I was saying something else. There's a goose. There's a goose, and it laid eggs, is what I was gonna say, right? Pretty sure that's what it was. We're gonna cd into finanman.net watch. Oh, yeah, now that reminded me when I did .NET Watch. Okay, so here's some stories. During the development process, for my job, the first thing that I was supposed to do was take this amazing design that was done before I even started and update an existing application with this new UI. And not really update the app. I was just supposed to turn that design into Blazor components, into code that could be used in the application. So I did that. I did that fairly quickly. It's locked because I ran it. And that was fun. And during the course of doing that, they saw that I had full stack development skills as well as familiarity with doing desktop development and just overall programming knowledge. And so they were like, can you now take that set of Blazor components, that Blazor UI that you made, and integrate it into the existing app? So then that was added to what I was doing for this. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then they're like, okay, well, there are certain things that we are not able to do in the current version of the application. We want to release by this date. So we need to pull out some of the extra features that we were wanting. Because the current application doesn't currently have those capabilities, we'd have to do a whole bunch of back-end work to add functionality to do it, such as in reading a number of processes, which doesn't sound too difficult, but number of running processes, and then being able to open Task Manager on your computer for you. For how to word this, for non-gaming machines, so right now they are targeting commercial machines that are used across organizations. You know, like if a company buys one of their machines, then that's a commercial machine. Versus consumer machines, which is if you and I bought one of those, versus gaming machines, which are consumer machines, but they are specifically targeting gamers or people that want that gaming hardware experience. And so that one has this kind of dark theme to it with these other contrasting colors. And anyway, so those gaming machines have the ability to check for certain hardware measurements. And then they show you those measurements, such as like how hot is your computer running? How hard is your graphics card? How hot is your graphics card running? What's the fan speed? And how much memory are you using? And do that in real time. And that's part of one of their applications. So we're integrating that functionality into our application so that it can be done for the entire set of targeted hardware. So that's one thing. So they're like, can you just start, removing those things that were in the design that we can't do yet, which means also shifting around the UI and being a UI developer as part of a full stack developer. It's easy to make the changes. It's easy to implement all of these things and make it work really well, but designing it to make it work aesthetically. Like now we're missing cards and we don't have an even number of cards to fill up this exact amount of space. And then needing to make the decisions on how exactly to lay it out when these cards aren't there or when these UI elements aren't there. It's like you need a designer to come in and review the entire application and make those enhancements to the design. I can only go so far with that because I am not the best designer, as you can tell with this application. Speaking of, why hasn't it run yet? Okay, so that was number one of things that I wanted to mention about the progress. Hello, Xcoding. The progress and history of the work that I've been doing on this application. The second thing is there were so many road bumps that happened. So not only was I given more responsibility, which I am absolutely okay with, and making decisions on how long XYZ is going to take when I have no experience with doing XYZ. and then committing to a deadline. The things that happened were there were various occasions when a change was made to the application. How do I put this? We have two parts of the application. We have everything that drives the core functionality of how it runs on a machine. And then we have the stuff related to the UI and how it interacts with those. Those are in two separate repositories, but the core functionality, instead of being just NuGet packages, so like if you make a change to the core functionality here, in some way that the front end of it would be depending on. Gosh, I wish I could give concrete examples. For example, if I changed the service definition to include a new service, or maybe even to not service, a new method, or maybe even to change the signature, change the expected arguments for one of these methods, then what happens in our app, I can't call it their app anymore because I had a pretty big hand in it. What happens in their app, our app, I just said their app, is that would get pushed to master. Yes, I said master. And when that rebuilds, if you have a change in the gosh, this is so hard to explain. If you have a change in the UI portion of the code that doesn't adapt or use the new methods because you don't have access to them yet, and you try to do a PR for that, that build is going to fail because you're using methods in your UI build that don't exist in the backend build, because the backend is pulled into the CI build. So not the actual NuGet packages, the actual backend project which generates NuGet packages, which then your build uses. So the change would need to be made for the back end as well as the front end, and that would need to be merged before you could merge any new changes yourself, because you need to take those changes. However, and that's yeah. I don't like that. We should just be building it into NuGet packages, pushing it to our artifacts, and then referencing those NuGet packages from the UI. Whatever, doesn't matter. That's not how we're doing it currently. So with that, there was a change made to the backend, and then to master, to the front end that adopted those changes. However, those changes were not applied everywhere in master. It's almost as if the changes were made to a small portion, the app wasn't rebuilt or run, and it just absorbed into my code when I updated mine to match master, and I was trying to do dev work. And yeah, that was fun. So that was one of those time-consuming situations where our processes made it difficult to maintain the code. The second one is we have to sign all of our files before releasing them, which is awesome. I'm glad we can do that. We have tools to be able to find all of our files and sign them. The tool that we use in-house uses an assembly name prefix or just some kind of matching pattern. Doesn't even have to be a prefix. It's just we have some pattern for identifying our files to select them. So all of my project names are, for example, this is finandman.server. And actually I have it on all of mine. So this would be an example of what we might use to find all of our internal DLLs to sign. So finandman would be a prefix that it looks for. Any DLLs that start with finandman dot would be our internal ones. They need to be signed. If I had another project that didn't start with finandman, such as in rando project. And actually, I am curious about this. I want to make that, and let's find out together. I want to make that into a Blazor component library. Actually, let's make a full Blazor app. Whoa! Dukasoft just resubbed for 13 months in a row. I have not been streaming for that long as an affiliate. That's a lie. Oh man. Test Blazor app thing. Okay. And here's what I want to know. We aren't going to do hosted. We're just going to do front end only. We're going to set it as our startup app. Okay, so here's what you can do with a plain old, Jane old, brand new Blazor app. You can run it with Control F5. I prefer to use .NET Watch. It seems to work better with hot reload. Except that suddenly it's not actually just popping up my UI. Lunch settings. Wait, where's my HTTPS? Okay, you there. And Captain Commerce is here. Hello, Captain Commerce. I was able to catch one of your streams over the past couple of weeks, but feels bad, man. Haven't been able to catch your other ones. Excuse me, why aren't you actually running? Are you running? Yeah, you should be using Kestrel. I can't even get an app to run right now. What's wrong with me? All right, let's try HTTP. 016, I think I saw. That works for me. Okay, so if I were to, for example, change my CSS in main layout such that for main, the background color is pink, then that happens right away. However, and I've been able to do that in my WPF app that has a Blazor web view. and I use SAS files. They compile down to CSS, and I use isolated CSS and all of that. However, because of this assembly thing that I was just telling you about, we needed to update all of our project names such that their assembly name is prefixed with the assembly name that we're expecting. Dang it. I wish Thindle was here, because here is something that is unexpected. If there is no content in between between a element node in the XML file. Yeah, this is the don't dox yourself, no docs extension. I will read chat in a second after I finish this thought. Finan, I need to see. Finanman dot test Blazor app. Okay, so notice I am not updating the namespaces in any of my files. The only thing that I did was change the project name, the project's assembly, to be finanman dot whatever I want. With that, if I now build and rerun, two things are going to happen. And I need F12 open. Did you finish? Okay. Number one, I'm going to lose my CSS. And the reason why is because there is no test Blazor app.styles.css. There is no, I guess, isolated styles. If I used a component library, a separate component library, any CSS that I tried to use from those would also fail, because the actual import for the CSS depends on, the assembly name, not the project name. What is this? It's weird. So I would need to update every instance where I'm trying to access something from underscore content, or from the app itself. So this should be finanman dot. I hope this works correctly. And then if I F5 on that, then I got my styles. It didn't error. I don't exactly know why my styles aren't really applying, though. Let's do a clean real quick. And I will also clear out the this. I really don't know what this thing is. I don't know if this is a part of nodocs and we just now have a big dot, or if I have another extension that is showing this big old dot. Okay, Captain Commerce, I'm sorry I haven't read your chat yet, but I will. I will eventually read your chat, even if you happen to be away or lurking. Okay, give me my styles. Cool. Okay, so I got my styles back. However, my CSS autosync is not broken. It does work. Okay. Okay. So I need to figure that out. For some reason in my application, and I think it's because I'm using an external component library. Wait, did I put that in the right one? Pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure it's that I'm using an external component library that my CSS autosync is no longer working at all. So now when I do any kind of UI work to update styles, to arrange things in better ways, I have to refresh the app, like F5. I don't know if you remember back in the day, but we never had a thing like live reload. Anytime you made a change, you needed to refresh the app and then get all the way back to where you were. So I pretty much am back to that. If I make a small change in counter, and I have to F5, which reloads the app, and then I have to well, in our app, I have to navigate all the way back to where we were. And you can guess how that is when you have a state as well, where it just breaks everything. So it's turned it into quite a bit of a slog. And I'm not exactly sure why from that point on my CSS autosync isn't working the way that it's supposed to. And it's only for isolated files, isolated CSS files. Yeah, I kind of want to add. I don't know that I'd be able to use any of these in this project because I don't, yeah, I don't have any dependency injections. So that's a bad idea. But anyway, I want to figure that out eventually. So that's number 2. And that happened last week. In the midst of trying to get a build that is release ready, that massive change happened. And it needed to happen because we needed to sign all of our files. But it would have been done from the get-go if we knew that we would have needed to do that. And then I could have dealt with everything earlier, you know? Oh, come on, let me delete it. Oh, duh. Okay. So that's where we're at with that. I'm going to catch up on chat now. I apologize for the long rant. I was like this close to posting in the rant room that exact situation, except in a less thoughtful way. But then I didn't. Okay, so chat. Chat. We got everything. We got tabs for the win. Just release the damn thing and enjoy the holiday. I agree, Irish John. So I think that's where I left off. Dukasoft was said tabs for the win. You're making me remember why I hate web dev. Oh no, I responded to that too. And Prog Testing said desktop web development could always be worse. WordPress says Dukasoft. And then we did a shout out for Irish John Games. Check him out. He will be streaming today at 2 p.m. my time, or 1 p.m. maybe. He's been starting about an hour earlier than he used to, which is awesome. I mean, he's on whatever schedule he wants to be on because he's amazing. Be there. Just got to change some icons and make sure that if the game is closed, when closed to the bottom of the screen, that it positions the Are You Sure box on the screen. Oh, Irish John. I mean, it was hilarious when, like, the last time that I was listening in on your stream and actually able to interact with you, you said that the issue that you were working on was first install, fresh install. And that was the exact issue that we were dealing with. So we have 3 different installers that get generated. All of them need to get signed, which is what makes the CI build take an hour. And it's a CI build. It's not the release build. Still complaining about that. So anyway, when a new machine uses one of the installer types to do a fresh install, it launches the app before certain folders are created and ready. That was fun. Oh, I'm ending. Whoa. I'll read that in a second. As soon as I catch up on stream. But yeah, I just thought that it was ironic that you mentioned it while I was working on that. It was great. People say hello to each other. Captain Commerce came in fine, and I'm finally getting to his messages. He says, I've been tinkering with some Blazor apps. I have this printable app that prints a number of pages in a format I need. I have to show you next time. Show it on the next stream. On stream. Next time. Sometime. That sounds like a good idea. I can't read. I'd like to get back to a Saturday day stream. Okay, and then he went lurk. Tukasoft said, well, we can't tell the time anyway since the stream is ending in 00000. Yeah. Okay, so hello MS Samble, Miss Samble. The scenario. You have an old physical encyclopedia of 50,000 pages from 1992, and it contains historical information, images, and illustrations. We need to create a process that will extract the details related to the first public packet switched computer network mentioned in this book. Recommend the user additional related terms or concepts that may be related to what they're searching. We need, I think we need more information. So you gave a scenario, what we have, which is an encyclopedia, and you need to create a process. So tell me about the process itself. Are you needing to write a computer program? Do you have to use computer vision? Do you need to come up with what that process entails? Like, are you designing the overall from scratch, no technology selected process for getting details of whatever input search out of this physical book? Or are you writing something that gives the user lookup tips so that you don't have to do any kind of like computer vision to read the encyclopedia and then parse and then do OCR and parse out images and illustrations, etc. Instead, you're just saying, well, here are some things related to your search term, first public packet switch computer network. You might look in places like dealing with computers to begin with from an encyclopedia. Another one is, do you need to, or are you able to find an existing electronic copy of that specific encyclopedia and then read through the contents and then perform a text search on it? Because then you would just index that and then perform a text search. So those are just a few thoughts that I have. So we'll look for your next messages. But for now, I'm gonna get back to the app for just a little bit. Gosh, I think I'm only gonna go until 30 after. So we will use this thing. But I did want to say hi to all of you because I do miss you. I really love hanging out with you guys. Oh yeah, there's still so much to be done. The other thing that I'm currently doing with the app is trying to do more responsive UI stuff. However, they are saying that the change that I just made for the what's it for the shutdown window thing is the last thing. We missed the release last week Monday, so the 5th, and we kept doing more work all the way up through yesterday. Around I stopped around 6:30, so I start my workday at 4:30 a.m. and I did cook and eat. Nope, 8 o'clock. I can't remember. Anyway, point is, I worked on it a lot. And so the most recent PR that I just finished is supposed to be the last PR before they make a release build of the application. And then we'll release today. Quick release, skip all icons. The icons thing is a mess. The other thing that I forgot to mention is they supplied the file that has all of the approved icons to me. They sent it to me yesterday in an email. And I had been asking for resources for where do I get these icons? And I've been using the Figma to get the SVGs. You will be able to see it, absolutely. I won't be able to show it on stream. I won't even be able to tell you who my client is. Yeah. It's kind of a. Since I work for a consulting firm, I can't really say who the client is. Yeah. It's kind of annoying because I really, really enjoyed making the app and then having more eyes on it to communicate directly to me. There are these quirks. Here's some issues that we found. I like how this thing works. Can you make this other thing work like that? I would love that kind of feedback. But you need a specific kind of computer, specific brand of computer. Um, for this application, and then you just download the latest application from the Windows Store when it is released on the Windows Store. It's the app with the icons. Duh. All the icons. Right. So the thing that I need to do in this app, the reason that I haven't done a PR on this branch is because this branch says that I'm supposed to implement the lookup list service, in of which I have only implemented get all lookup items, and that's it. So we need to implement get lookup item by ID and add a lookup item, update a lookup item, and delete a lookup item. Oh, so let's do that. Because I need to use this type of thing in multiple places, I may as well turn this into a method that will give me back the iQueryable of tLookupItemViewModel. And the way that I'm going to do that is refactor, extract. Is there no extract method? Okay, I'm gonna do it like this. Extract method. Okay, so I think it was just that last line that didn't allow me to do it. Yes, please. Yeah, Control Dot Alt Enter. Um, I wasn't thinking. My brain is still off somewhere. This is going to be get queryable lookup. This great with names. Oh, thank you so much for the follow. Did we get a follow up from MSS Amble? Miss Samble? MSS Samble? But anyway, thank you, Skylex. Crying eyes. I'm very QQ right now. I apologize. I will stop being QQ. Okay, we no longer need you to be explicitly stated. We aren't going to pass in a queryable. Oh, okay. I see. And we're going to make this nullable. And you are going to be nullable. And we're just going to return queryable. Yeah, and we're going to initialize it to null. Cool. And this way we can handle this default case, which is now if queryable is null. You, KD. And yeah, like I said, no parameter for you. No parameter for you. But the rest of you get soup. Aren't you happy? Great. So that's going to make it easier for me to get the actual queryable of t. Put it down here in the middle of nowhere. Collapse that because we don't need to see it. And now you can be back to var. And that makes this method body super simple, super small. And that's going to make this one super simple, super small. Am I using this anywhere else? I am not. So I'm going to move that as well into the method. Here. What did I break? Oh, and infer T lookup item. Wait, why not? Interesting, because I'm not using the one passed down from the parent. However, this doesn't need to be generic because we are getting it. Oh, yeah, it does. Summon a biscuit. Okay. We will explicitly put in here T lookup item view model. And I'll need to figure out if maybe there's something I can do differently for that. Anyway, Doesn't that mean that I can also make this static? Oh, it is. Cool. Okay, so all of this is going to be the same, except that you are going to be an individual item. You are going to be async, which is the same. And you are going to be get the list. And queryable is going to be first or default ID, list item ID. That doesn't seem right. You're a string. Item ID? No. Oh, floppy pants. Did I know I was going to run into this issue? Okay, well, thankfully, I know that I'm making value text equal to ID to string. Oh, right. This is actually going to be our data. Resp.data is going to be first or default. Are you actually nullable? You are nullable. Um, so that's not normally an error, right? If you say get lookup item by ID and that record doesn't exist in your repository, in your collection, in your store, then that's not usually an error. That's just nothing was found. Because what I could do is if it's supposed to be an error, hello, Amin. Oh my goodness, all of the fun, cool people are here. Oh, so good to see you. What we could do is if retrest.data is null, we could treat it as an error. retrest.add error, no matching record was found. Which means, yeah, only a 1 hour stream. I'm sorry. So we are releasing today. But that should mean that if we do release today and there are no major issues that take multiple days, we'll be back to our normal schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting on Friday with Community Day. How fitting. So do I want to keep this? The reason that I would add an error is because on the UI side, if I wanted to, uh, or not if I wanted to, whenever there is an error, we would see it in some kind of alert window, snack bar type thing, versus having to write extra logic for what if data is null. Yeah, I still prefer handling on the UI side the actual process for trying to get a lookup item based off of the ID that was passed in didn't error, but it also didn't find one. And so that's up to you, consumer, to decide what to do with no record found. So we're going to set resp dot record count equals resp dot data is null. Null. 0, otherwise 1. And then return resp. Ruh-roh. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, so we have successfully implemented get lookup item by ID. I will do a mini check-in for just that. Where is my get? And I made other changes. Are we sure? Are we sure I made other changes? Oh, wait. Yes, we're sure I made other changes because I didn't actually delete some random project from the folder. Okay. Berto is my real name, by the way. Rose added logic for getting lookup item by ID. I'll do a local commit because I plan on in 2 minutes and 22 seconds being able to write the add lookup item. Do I though? We start by initializing a response model base int. We initialize our context that we will be using and make this async. And we're going to surround this whole thing in a transaction. Database. Begin transaction async. Pass the cancellation token. There's going to be a lot of error handling that I'm not doing right now that I should be doing. So what happens if the cancellation token is canceled? Then I believe it by default throws an exception in this case when I'm using it for the database stuff. But for now, we're just going to do it with the context and the transaction in line. We'll look for the record before we even create the transaction. And we will attach a record. So found rec equals get queryable lookup list t lookup item view model context. Right, this is add. So do we care if the user adds multiple lookup items with the same name? I'm pretty sure I said that the names are distinct. They're indexed as unique. We're going to go over by just a little bit. Maybe we will go the whole 2 hours because this is kind of fun. I shouldn't have started this one. So yes, if we find, oh, right. I forgot that there are async versions of this. 24-hour stream. Yes, I mean, I really was wanting to do like Extra Life one day. But yeah. Maybe sometime in the future. Display text. Oh, it is called data entry view model. Display text. I didn't put the async. So if found rec is not null, right? So it's possible that this thing will be null. here. Why are you angry? Does not contain a definition. Oh. Wait. Yeah, so why is it still angry at this? Dereference of a possible null reference. That's a lie. I have a null check. I have a null check right here. Oh. This very weird. Very weird this. Hey Thindle. Hey Thindle. Hey Thindle. Glad you showed up. I'm gonna end a little earlier than my normal 2 hours, just for this. Hopefully this is the last day that I need to do this for a while. Hey Lion. Hey Lion. Hey Lion. But I do have a question. So one thing that I just noticed, and it was an index.html file. You asked me to check out the updated nodocs. Where in the world is this? I don't care. Just give me any index. All right. So index.html, good. It's not there. So I created a new project, and for some reason I had a big black circle here, and I didn't think that it was part of nodocs or anything. It just was, have you seen anything like that in, for example, index.html? Yeah. Here, I'll create the project again. Add new project. Blazor WebAssembly. Hold. Oop, yep. Nah, nodocs can physically only make squares. And then I was in here. This. So I don't know if it's just a new feature with a new .NET 7 project or what's going on with this thing. So if anyone else can just create a random Blazor WebAssembly project not hosted and see if your index.html has this. I don't know what other extension could be doing this. It looks perfect. Ship it. It could be my SVG viewer. It's thinking that there's SVG. Oh, there might be an SVG or an image in here. Yeah, it could be an SVG viewer. It could be a CSS helper thing. But yeah, check out Don't Dox Yourself, especially if you either present to people that shouldn't have access to your secrets or you just want to keep yourself protected. Yeah, SVGs are XML. But and that's fine. It's just like the only time that I've seen something show up here is if I'm making my own SVG. This is where the preview of the SVG shows up, and it could possibly be this. Oh, yeah, this right here. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'll just cut it completely and close the file, reopen. Yeah, it's gone. It's back. Yeah, so it's got to be SVG preview. Okay, never mind. We've solved it. Yes, one other comment was when I was in CS Proj and I add anything. So, for example, let's say I did item group, then the closing tag uh, is still masked until there is at least one character inside, which is fine because normally, if you have an opening tag, it will have at least one character of content inside. Otherwise, it would be self closing, which works just fine. Yeah, real life testing is great. Okay, I get rid of this whole project. Anyway, other than that, how are you doing, Thindle? What have you been up to? I got a report that it was a bit slow when parsing JSON, and the file was 1.5 megabytes. Told him to pound sand and added a max limit to the file parsing. That's terrible. I'm going to split this up into two just to get rid of the squiggly. Um, what is this called? Lookup list. Go away, squigglies. Why are you still telling me that there's a possible null reference? Dereference of a possible null reference when I am. Is it the await? I might be awaiting null. That's probably what it is. Oops. Yeah, that's what it is. And you are no longer nullable. Okay, so Thindo is responding. I've been messing with an installer application, advanced installer, and build pipelines. I was just talking about that earlier. Our application that we are releasing today, um, at least I'm going to keep saying it out loud as if we are, because it's going to happen. I'm still stuck on sign the installer step. Anyway, during the build pipeline, it generates three different installers, an appx, an MSI, and a setup.exe. And also I think it's called click once, the single packaged executable file thing. Anyway, so it creates all of them, it signs all of them, and makes them all available for the various places. So if you download it from the client's website, then I believe you download the MSI. If you download it from the Windows Store, I believe it's the appx. And then I have no idea what we have the setup.exe for. But then he said, only parse what the user can see. Yeah. Actually, is that a thing you could do, Thindle? So I think Dukasoft was being half funny, but also half serious. Is there a way for you to know and be able to do it fast enough what is in the viewport? Oh man, you'd have to be really, really fast if you were gonna do that live. So like if I use this navigator thing, how does the navigator work with that, by the way? Oh no. Oh, this one is bad. Yeah, seriously. Essentially, if you're gonna be in your secrets, oh, don't hover over your whatever this type of bar is called. I always forget. Good. So it doesn't even show up in your secrets file, which is cool, but anywhere else. It's funny. Yeah. I think it should be okay, Findle, because most of the time the only place that you would have that, well, no, let's say you're in a .NET framework project in web.config. Yeah, I would have no idea how to deal with that either. Gosh, that one's difficult. But anyway, do you think it would be possible for you to use the scroll area and say, um, don't use .NET Framework web configs? Obviously. What about app settings dot production in a console app that's being installed as a Windows service as a daemon, where you can't use secrets? Spoil sport. Anyway, still a good question. As the user scrolls, would you be able to do some kind of live masking as the user scrolls that maybe does some kind of overflow to hide the content? Again, it would need to be really fast because what if they're clicking around all over the place? That sounds really hard. It sounds like a really hard problem. So this is an extension made by Findle, who you can see chatting with us in chat. It is called Roaming Extensions. Installed. No docs. Don't dox yourself. Yeah. So now that you say that, it almost seems like as they scroll, like if scrolling is in process, if you know how to detect that, and again, it sounds hard, so I don't expect you to do this in like 2 minutes. If there is a way, I think there is one, isn't there? No docs? We'll find out. Nope. No docs. You're right. We do need a command. Um, if there's a way to find out if scroll is in process, then mask everything while scrolling is happening until it finishes parsing what's in the scroll view. But that still sounds like you need to process the entire document when you do that because you need to draw the rectangle for every line, correct? It just has to do with the drawing. Yeah, so drawing the squares is what takes a long time, it sounds like, for a large file. Yeah, which would make it even worse for drawing squares everywhere while you're trying to scroll. So that doesn't sound like a good idea. It sounds like it would be worse than what you currently have. Anyway, still fun to think about. I can put one thing over the whole document. It's being frustrum cold. That's a crazy word. And it just got merged. even though it's not done with the CI build. Oh, I love that. People with the power to merge without respecting the gated check-in. I love it. Anyway, I'm deleting my branch. Restrum calling is know everything, only draw what's on the screen. Oh, yeah, yeah. I should have known that. I did take a graphics design course once in university. What's the deal here? Pass the cancellation token. Uh, Ret resp add error. So, like another frustration calling. um, yeah. Another thing is I don't have Copilot on my work machine, which is what I have been primarily working on lately, because there is absolutely nothing else that I can do with my spare time currently. Um, Except I also get to watch some streams when I'm not fully immersed in what I'm doing. But anyway, I don't have Copilot on there. All I have is IntelliSense and IntelliCode, which is very helpful still. But having this thing write this out for me, I just forgot what that felt like. It was kind of nice. I liked it. And I watched the Nick Chapsis video that ChatGPT is also going to be replacing us, which actually just means that we're going to use AI to become more creative, in my opinion. So you ask ChatGPT something, it gives you some kind of programming solution, and you're like, I can actually use that in this other way because not everything that you gave me is absolutely correct. Yeah, exactly. So I do think that there's going to be an art for that, Thindle. Yeah, we are kind of doing that today. It's just becoming more evolved, um, where people are going to become better at being able to ask the AI to generate code. So they'll know here's the client requirements. Here's how I ask the AI to generate the code, and it will either get us 100% of the way there if we're good enough at asking it the right questions, or most of the way there, and then we have a specialist who will be cleaning up the code itself. But that will also free people up to explore new technology and different ways of utilizing the code. And it's just going to be turtles all the way down or up. Um, oh, come on. I know that I have one. We're gonna write that, but I'm sure that I have one. We'll find it. We're gonna go from the view model to the actual database entity. Then we're going to await context dot add async this new record. We're going to set ret resp dot record count, which is going to be the total number of records that are affected by this. to await context save changes async, passing the cancellation token to all of these. And finally, we will await transaction commit async. We'll get the record ID that was just created from new rec. And so that one's going to be hard because something like the recurrence table, which we shouldn't be affecting this way anyway, but the recurrence table itself has an enum as the title, as the ID as the title. Which should be fine. So what toEntity is going to return for us is the lookup list item. So we're going to turn an iLookup item view model into an iLookup item. I'm going to write that down here really quick just to have it in my brains. Public static class lookup item extensions, which we should already have. I know we have this somewhere. Shared. Hey, shared. Does anyone see the actual shared libraries? I don't. Okay. So we'll call them iLookup item extensions. And we'll have one extension that's going to be a public static iLookup item to entity. This iLookup item view model. Oh, and I wonder if I'm going to be able to do this. Okay, so this is going to be our boilerplate code for how we're going to approach this. Yeah, I can't put in T key. And is it because I don't have a version of I? Yeah, I do. It's right there. It just can't derive T key this way. Big key works. Agreed. Okay, so that's able to derive T key if I put it in the signature the way that it's supposed to work. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is not iLookup item view model of T key as a constraint on the generic type. So I really do have to put it this way. We might have to get super creative with this. Yeah, that's gonna be something, isn't it? Okay, but the gist of it is here. We're not gonna have ID until until we figure out how to pass the generic type T key to entity. And I think that's where we're gonna hold off. I'll write some to-dos and then I'll check in this code. I could have sworn though that I did write some extensions that will convert from the view model to the entity model and from the entity model to the view model. But apparently I didn't. I've done it so many times. Yeah. Okay, we'll be back to that. I knew exactly what I wanted. Okay, so I'm gonna catch up on chat and make that the last thing that I do for the day, and then we'll end a little bit early. Um, added logic for the add lookup item. And that is going to go into our current branch, which is imp lookup list service. If any of you feel like checking it out, it is on the GitHub project page that Dukasoft posted earlier. If you want that project page, just let me know and we'll repost. Okay, so when last I was in chat, Thinda was talking about how this is an interesting thing with this large file and the scrolling and the way that all of this stuff works. And I don't mean to poke holes in your baby at all. Just because I asked you to doesn't mean you should. But yeah, I need to write that down. We need a command for extensions. Stream ideas. Add a command for nodocs. Will do. I still want to write the logic that will allow you guys to add your own commands for points. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's already parsed, has to do with the document drawing. I can put one big thing over the whole document, being frustum cold. Yeah, so it would only be inside of the document viewport space thing. One big square if doc is larger than X KB. Oh my gosh. That's fun. So I have this wireless lav mic that I use when I'm on Zoom with my teammates. And it was live this whole time, which is fine because I'm not in a call, but it's also hooked up to my work computer. So who knows? Who knows who's listening? I mean, even if it, even if I have this one turned off, probably the onboard microphone is listening always and recording everything that I say. That's okay though, because so's my stream. And if they really want to know, then they'll go back and rewatch the stream on YouTube. So 24 hours after the stream, I normally post it to YouTube's. Something like 132. You got to actually load link. My browser windows are just being extremely weird. They aren't launching themselves. And I don't have any other browser windows open that would be getting launched. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's probably a Windows update. Line 132 is huge files are really bad experience right now. If it's over half a meg, skip it. Yes, says Dukasoft. Actually, he says yeah, which ends up in the catch on line 170 and hides everything. The fail close thing. Task failed successfully. Can't wait. Oh, can't wait for ChatGPT to do all of our jobs. And then we talked about ChatGPT. And then we had that conversation. I like that conversation. It's fun. I really, really enjoy exploring these, what technology is going to look like in the future, what technologists are going to look like in the future. Um, I've mentioned a couple times before that I'm also part of a group that is trying to create a minimum viable product for exploring what the metaverse would look like and what kinds of things we could provide to our clients and our customers that would make them want to invest in adapting their product to the metaverse and having us explore that. So that's been a lot of fun. I put something in the codehelp.net channel, which is right here, right here, right here. Yep. Can someone figure this out? Oh, it's an actual question. And you're getting feedback. Oh, wait, today. That was 2 days ago. Oh my gosh, how long has it been since I've even looked at um what is this called? Discord. So Findle put in a method stub and then it gave him the test in whatever testing framework he's using, which looks kind of like XUnit. That's just Copilot. Yeah, you know what? I would be interested in asking this chat AI because I've seen it used a few times now. I'd be interested in asking it to create test methods in, well, I guess Nick did do that, but I didn't really pay attention to what it output. But anyway, create test methods for whatever, and then see what kinds of names it comes up for the actual test methods. Because that's really the hardest part for me. It's not really writing the test, it's naming them. At least we're not all using JetBrains, though. Xcoding says, too expensive. Dukasoft said coffee key works. Coffee key always works. Oh yeah, I guess I can now go to this screen because I am catched up on chat with just a few more to read. And we can still see chat here. Oh yeah. It's so weird looking at this window because I'm looking at the thing that I'm looking at. My microphone is almost exact in the same exact spot. My mobile studio, this thing here, is in almost the exact same spot, even though I move it all the time. My camera is right there. The camera. Anyway, I don't change things around very much. But Findle is saying, I use JetBrains until I started using CodeRush. Now I use CodeRush. Hashtag not sponsored. Cool. Anyway, so Dukasoft put the link for the project. This is on GitHub. It is open source if you feel like picking through the code just to see how things are put together. I kind of chose a route that isn't very teaching oriented because I use this generic service with generics all the way through the service method calls, and that's just super confusing. Hopefully we'll be able to come up with a better project, but we're pretty close to completing the functionality of this one, which is to be able to enter transaction events manually in a web application, financial transaction events, which is all that I care about because I want to replace my Access application, Access document, Microsoft Access, whatever it's called, database, I guess. Anyway, feel free to join us on Discord. That link is also posted. And finally, 24 hours or so after the stream, this video will be posted on the YouTubes at 11D Lion, which is really cool. So I am kind of glad that someone took 11 Lion. What's it called? YouTube handle? YouTube. Anyway, whatever their thing is called. And so I fell back to 11D Lion because that's pretty awesome. I like it a lot. That's a name that you guys gave me. So anyway, that's it. Until the next time, I will love handle. Yes, that's exactly what it's called. We are planning again on Friday happening. So Fridays are usually community day streams. So feel free to hang out with us on Friday. We'll invite you, anyone that feels like talking verbally, into Discord, a voice channel. One day I'll figure out how to use the new Twitch live thing, guest star, and invite you guys in a more professional kind of way. But anyway, until next time, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy it until we meet again. Okay. Ciao for now.